Hello and welcome to this week's Business Updates with me, Michael Hardy. So this week, I'm going to start by looking at how the change of a descriptor, so how you describe a product, can have an effect. Now, because of the avian flu that's been causing problems in the UK, we no longer have free-range eggs available in the supermarkets. All eggs in the supermarkets will now have to be branded as barn eggs because chickens have to be kept inside the coop. They're not allowed out. So that's changing the labels because they've been inside now for 16 weeks because of the flu issue. So what difference does that have for supermarkets? Well, we've all got used to buying free range eggs. So they're going to have to make a big push to get people to be aware that barn eggs is not some downgrade of the product, but actually a cause of the avian flu. So it's important that how you describe your products, your services, are understandable to your clients and they're clear. So free range eggs off the market, barn eggs on the market, but they're exactly the same eggs. So just beware. Interest rates continue to rise. We're now up to 0.75%, which for those of us who remember the early 90s and actually any time sort of before probably 2005 would say that these interest rates are halcyon days. But the reality is that they've moved up in 3 or 4 months from virtually 0 to 0.75%. And with the inflation growing 6.2% is the latest figure, then the likelihood is the interest rates are going to keep growing. So if you have base related borrowing, then that could be a problem because as the interest rate goes up, so your borrowing cost goes up. How does that affect your business? Make sure that you have contingency and understanding of the cash flow impact on those interest rate rises. Because unfortunately we don't seem to be thinking they're going to go down anytime soon. Trading internationally, we talked last week with a group of businesses about the Department of International Trade, and within that how trading internationally you can have the same brand but very much different products because the local market can require that. Here's a great example from IKEA, who are thriving in India, but they actually sell very few of the products that they sell in the rest of their marketplaces because of the way the Indian market requires changing brand types, changing furniture, and also locally sourced. So they're successful in India, but not with the IKEA range that you would expect to find in Warrington or Leeds or Nottingham, to name but 3 of their stores in the UK. So if you are thinking of trading internationally, it's a great opportunity to spread your brand and your wings and your products, but make sure that what you're selling meets the local demand. Because a successful brand in the UK certainly doesn't mean it will be successful in other parts of the world. A brand reborn. Flybe. One of the first businesses to go out of business in March 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. And it wasn't necessarily COVID that caused them to go under, but they were certainly with the changes in habits and what was happening then, that sort of was the final nail in their coffin. But they're back. They're back. They've been reborn. The American business owns them now. They're going to be based in Birmingham, not Exeter, but they have started to sell flights for on their internet website from the 13th of April. So brands can be reborn. Where have you got a brand or something that worked in the past that maybe you shelved or thought that it had had its time? Is there an opportunity to bring it back and make it successful again? Good luck to everybody at Flybe. We hope it brings back lots of successful flights and business to the regions. talk a lot about values and the importance of values within a business, so that it's about recruitment. So the values of the people in the business are similar. Actually, recruiting on values as much as skills is really important, because having the right type of person with the right ethics and ethos, you can train certain skills, but you can't train values. And a great example with what's happened at P&O, I don't want to comment specifically about how they've behaved, but it certainly seems like from a government point of view, the government are saying they're going to pull their contracts from P&O because they're not acting in their how they would expect to be acted. And that's actually true of anybody you deal with. If you deal with a business, whether customer or supplier, if the values aren't aligned, and it doesn't mean absolutely the same, but if there aren't some similarities in the way that you expect business to be done, it can cause real problems down the line. Understanding your values is the start point of all this, but once you've understood those, then let's try and work with people who have similar values and ethics, because in the long run, you will have a more fruitful and productive relationship. Travel restrictions into the UK ended at 4 a.m. last Friday, the 18th of March. Quite unbelievable when you think of where we've been over the last 2 years, and actually over the last few months. I've been fortunate enough to be away on a short break in the last few weeks, and the changing restrictions really did sort of happen at a pace, and we've now got rid of all restrictions. So there is no requirement for even unvaccinated people to test or fill in a locator form before they come back or come into the UK. So end of travel restrictions. The new normal is here. And finally, a workshop that we've got on next week, the 5 numbers business owners need to know. If that would be of interest, it's next Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning via Zoom, and there's a link there to book your tickets. So 5 numbers business owners need to know, help with your finances and running your business. That's all from me for this week. Hope you have a fantastic weekend when it comes, and we'll see you next week.